Live from our network studios in Lagos, Nigeria. It's Enterprise Morning on Enterprise Television, and now to our main conversation for today. Kaduna State House of Assembly has recommended that the immediate past governor of the state, El-Rufai, be prosecuted for alleged abuse of office and money laundering. The recommendation followed the investigation of the ad hoc committee set up by the House, led by Henry Zakaria.
That's right. According to the report submitted by Zakaria on Wednesday, most of the loans obtained under El-Rufai's administration were not used for their intended purposes, and in some cases were fraught with breach of due process in the way they were secured.
Very true. The committee, as part of its recommendation, suggested the investigation and prosecution of the ex-governor and some other indicted members of his cabinet by security and anti-corruption agencies for abuse of office through the award of contract without due process and the diversion of public funds and the money laundering. Still in the studios, we also do justice to this very trending topic today. It's still Barrister Van Sufeli and Emeka Madunadu. Thank you, gentlemen, for hanging on. And let's get into the meaty part of our discussion today. I'd love to take a little bite, from what Governor Ubasani has said. He said that he inherited a huge debt burden of $587 million and 85 billion naira, and also 115 contractual liabilities from the immediate past administration of Nasir El-Rufai, lamenting that the huge debt has eaten them into the state's federal allocation. But Van Sufeli, is this new? Because it is a cliche, from other state governors.
Yeah, it's not new that governors take loans, and when they do their jobs, they use what they get from the federal government to offset some of these loans, service them, and govern the states with the resources they get from the federal government and the one they generate internally. The difference here is that some states generate more internally than others. And what the revenue allocation they get from the federal government are not equal. It depends on the state inputs in the general earnings of the country from the center. But in El-Rufai's case, the House of Assembly seems to have come to a conclusion with an investigation, and they have outlined so many things that were not properly done by the ex-governor. The award of contracts and some of the loans which did not follow due process. The Procurement Act, the law, and all the things that have to do with governing government projects. Some, according to them, he did not follow due process. But I think also that there was a House of Assembly under El-Rufai, right? Part of those members are even part of the members in this House of Assembly, those who returned. Okay, and they are saying this is what the governor did. So, fine. They should commence an action in court. Okay, if they're able to prove those before the court, they have to prove beyond reasonable doubts that truly and actually he did not follow due process, which is actually a criminal offense. Then the court will look at the evidence before it, look at what they're able to bring to incorporate the ex-governors. You understand? Now, I'm still wondering that the current governor is saying that with this huge body, it has eaten into the fabrics of what the state have to develop further. So there's also the allegation of diversion of funds, okay, which every governor, all governors, they do. How does it make it right? So if El-Rufai is going to be one of those whom the state, because in this case now, from what we have seen from other governors, it's usually the EFCC, okay? The EFCC, usually will prosecute. Most state House of Assembly members have no guts to indict a former governor. But we're getting a new narrative from the Kaduna State. The last time we spoke about this, I commended the Kaduna State House of Assembly to a point, and I said I want to watch further to see whether they are being sponsored to do this by the political enemies of El-Rufai, or they are doing this on their own volition for the purposes of their love for their people and their constituency. But it's becoming clearer now that perhaps this thing is altruistic. And if it is, it means that we will call on states like Delta and other states to prosecute their ex-governors. Because my ex-governor Okowa did a lot of damage to that state. So if the Delta State current House of Assembly will do that, which I doubt, it's part of development. Let the people now hold their governors to account. Go to court and prosecute him. The current Attorney General of the state will file a charge against the ex-governor. He does not have immunity any longer. So just like any other citizen. So I commend the Kaduna State House of Assembly for this act. But until they prove their case beyond reasonable doubt, they will not get conviction.
All right. So before I go to Emeka, Mr. Evans, you had inferred earlier that the current House of Assembly under Governor Ubasani, some of those members are returning members. And from the reports we took on the reference, we saw that some of them, were part and parcel of, the fraudulent activities under El-Rufai. Do you think they stand, they have the locus to now bring him to book in terms of what we are seeing now? That's one question. The second question, I like that you say this is altruistic. I have a different view to that. Some people are saying this is pure witch hunt, and this has some political undertone, sponsored by, some top politicians. Let's have a panoramic view from you, if you think this is witch hunt. And then the first question, members who were some sort of, worked hand in glove with the governor, the ex-governor, have now returned, and now they're the ones trying to prosecute him. We don't have the locus to do that.
They return as witnesses of what he did.
Okay, so
that he didn't go through them to have some projects.
What happened? What happened when he was governor? Why didn't they speak up?
That is what they're saying. We're saying the same thing. Okay, crime does not run against the state. Even if they speak up or say whatever, he has immunity. You understand? Now the cloaks of immunity have left him.
Right.
He's now a citizen, just like a frog that is out of the hot water. He's facing the public now. You understand? This is the right time to do it. And because he's coming from a house that knew what he did, this House of Assembly members wake up in the morning and see contracts all over the place that they are to approve. They are to grant even the loan. They are to anything finance. They are the one that will do the approvals. They are not telling you that, look at all this. Okay, this and this we approve. We don't know about all this. That's what they are telling you. So he should go and answer for that. They'll file a charge against him and he'll go and answer for that. That's the first question. The second question you talk about is, can you remind me about the second question so I can take that on?
If this is witch hunt or not?
You see, whether this is witch hunt or not will be determined by the court of law. Okay? Let's assume it's witch hunt now. And the Attorney General of the state file a charge against him. And the Attorney General is able to bring documents, excavate evidence, and all that, and present it before the court. And those evidence were admitted in evidence, and it is clear that they were true and overwhelming. Should that still be witch hunt? Because sometimes we can even say it is witch hunt, but it is witch hunt to the extent that what he's been accused of is also true. It can be witch hunt. Do you understand what I'm saying? It can be witch hunt because some governors who committed all this didn't have anyone who came out and said, okay, let's pursue it against them, even though those things were true. In this case, perhaps you don't have people who say, okay, these things he did, let's pursue it. And then it's admitted as the truth. If it turns out to be the truth, so whether you call it witch hunt or not, what it is that these are infractions committed against the people.
Very true.
So it will go on.
Very true. Emeka, given the political oratory skill of Nasir El-Rufai, coming from the FCT minister to the governor, are you surprised that El-Rufai is not speaking out?
He has spoken. He said he served the people to the sense of his ability. Yes. I think in the court of public opinion, the governor stands condemned. Governor Obasani stands condemned. He just, whatever he's doing, he's just trying to buy time. Because he has nothing to offer the people of Kaduna State. I'm going to write it down and I said so. Quote me on something. He has nothing to offer. has a record, or at least things he did. Obasani was one of the senators who supported El-Rufai when he wanted to take a loan that Shehu Sani, as a senator, blocked. El-Rufai moved against Shehu Sani's bid to return to the Senate, and and helped Obasani to get there. At the end of the day, that loan was approved. Now that's part of what Obasani is now claiming, that El-Rufai is appropriated. The political thing was stupid. Look, it shows you a man who had no program. Because first of all, you look at the record of El-Rufai. I'm not a fan of El-Rufai. I don't care. Whatever, they jail him or whatever, I don't care. But I just stand on the side of truth. And what I believe is this. You see, at least Kaduna State was, recorded as one of the states that had, prudence in public accounting. Kaduna State was one of the states that, had some measure of IGR under El-Rufai. There were certain things that were, that stood to the period of El-Rufai. But, of course, now you are saying that, the state government is saying that so and so happened under El-Rufai. Fine. But the governor has to show the people of Kaduna State that I have programs that will make your life better than what El-Rufai did. Because if you're pointing one finger at somebody, four fingers are pointing back at you. So he should lay out his own programs. He should pursue the programs that will take Kaduna State to the high level. These probes and things can be by the side. I've never been a fan of all these probes, but they end up with nothing. So, make the people's lives better. Make the state better. Clean up the accounting system. You have an accountant general of the state. It's just like what is playing out in River State. Fubara suddenly, making himself a saint in the things that Wike made. Yes, I know Wike has not, conducted himself like, an elder, if you permit me to use that word, in terms of River State politics. But again, people are asking Fubara, no, yes, okay, I have to sign all those things, yes. But let me tell you, there are people who have walked out from jobs because they refuse to compromise their conscience. And he had the opportunity to do so. So, you see, this moralizing should be on one side. Work for the people, make the people's lives better. When you make the people's lives better, it will be left to present it to judge. They will look at your performance, look at El-Rufai. And of course, if you want to probe him, you can do that. Quietly get the Attorney General of the State, Commissioner for Justice, to initiate proceedings against El-Rufai for so. Let El-Rufai be battling those charges. But focus on the goal of delivering good governance. The people are hungry. Put food on their tables. Quality education. Security. Make things better. That way, let me tell you, you will consign El-Rufai to the dustbin of history.
All right. So, I also speak to the fact that some people are saying that the current president may be complicit in this matter. Do you think there's any sort of veracity in that claim?
Well, like there's this Igbo proverb that says, when somebody is hired to nurse a child and the child dies, what happens? The person will have to go away. Abi?
Yes.
Good. El-Rufai, there are claims that El-Rufai was actually the one who suggested this Muslim moving ticket in 2021. There are those claims. But now APC was declared the winner of the presidential election 2023 on the basis of that. And then, of course, if El-Rufai was the initiator, APC today has taken that baby, almost Muslim ticket. They've used it, and put it on one side, put it inside the cupboard. So Tinubu has shown from his body language clearly that he wants to have nothing to do with El-Rufai. It's clear. So if anybody is saying that it's an indirect way that Tinubu is fighting El-Rufai, that might be difficult to establish. But of course, in politics, It's all about interest. It would definitely be in Tinubu's interest that he keeps El-Rufai as far away from power, from being able to exercise any measure of power against him as possible. It is in his own enlightened self-interest. So, I don't think actually that Tinubu needs to prompt the House of Assembly to probe, to look into the books, into the books of Kaduna State. But the fact of the matter is that even Tinubu himself has not lived up to expectations of Nigerians. So if he's instigating problems here and there, you can even see he intervened in Ondo State. Did they listen to him? He intervened in Benue State. Did they listen to him? He intervened in River State. It's just business as usual. Fubara had to suddenly wake up and develop muscles to fight back. Not because Tinubu was helping him. The same thing I did that suddenly realized, wait a minute. I can be acting governor, And things have appeared to that he became acting governor. And wait a minute, he was able to push everybody aside. Look at Benue. Earlier, from day one, I think earlier, didn't even waste 1 minute before carrying his godfather, the SGF, Akume, and throwing him over the fence. He didn't even waste 1 minute. So it is now a case of every man for himself, God for us all. So I think basically Obasanjo is also fight of his life. He doesn't want to be like Fubara. He's learning from writing earlier. Fight the earlier you fight and consign your godfather to the cupboard, just like Wike did to Amechi, the better for you.
Very true. Now, while this rages on, one very important a person we are not talking about is Muhammad Bello El-Rufai, the son of Nasru El-Rufai. He is, of course, in the ranks of people who might, take over in time to come. And he is not. He used to call Ubasani his political godfather, but in this particular case, he's beginning to tilt towards his own father. Now, how do you think this would be going forward? Do you think we would keep having a reversal of this sort of issue? Because possibly if Ubasani is no longer there, and hopefully if Muhammad Bello El-Rufai takes a center stage, do you see a repetition of all of these things in the future?
Like a revenge or something?
Yes, exactly.
Well, El-Rufai's son is minority for now. Okay, he's minority. So whatever it is, of course, it is not morally or politically correct that a man should fight his father or join hands with those who will fight his father. But if the optics are that there are allegations, okay, he may not directly want to do that, but what he will need to do maybe is to stay clear from whatever it is they are doing until the coast is clear enough. As to whether he will succeed or Ubasani is a different conversation entirely. Because Ubasani too will not be stupid enough to open the floodgate of El-Rufai's descendants to take over from him because of the days ahead. The days ahead is going to be very terrible for him if he makes that mistake. Because now El-Rufai is being brought to public ridicule by virtue of the allegation. But you see, from whichever way we stand and look at this issue, let the court decide truly whether or not, I am also of the view that Obasani should come up with his own program, because it appears, like he said, there's nothing on the table. And then they want to beat this drum hard enough, this El-Rufai drum, El-Rufai prosecution drum, they want to beat it hard enough for it to overshadow what the mainstream government ought to have done. So at the end of the day, when he fails in governance, he will say, didn't I tell you people that all the money this former governor depleted it? Yes, it's a strategy to use excuse. So, want to feed on the people, to let them know that your plight is not me. It's the one that came before me. You understand? So, by and large, if we get to court, okay, just that I wish that this case is being determined by the EFCC and not Kaduna State, because the state is already I mean, you will get some level of dispassionate look at the case if they are looking from the federal institution that have no interest here and there. Not like they are perfect too. But in this case, where the Attorney General that now takes order from the governor, current governor, is the one that will prosecute, and you are not sure what the defense will look like, or whether this is a smoke screen. Nobody knows, nobody can tell. You call it whatever you call it, but I am glad that we have governors who have led the state and who have been called to come and give account of their stewardship. How be it that that call is being made by the court, okay, is a good way to set things rolling. Because even Obasani himself should have it at the back of his mind that after his tenure too, since we are establishing a tradition, after his tenure too, we call to that same judiciary to come and give account of its stewardship. So if we now duplicate it in other states, and in Delta State to be specific, if we do that, then we'll be having some sort of a reflection of transparency in a way. So other than just leaving it for the EFCC only.
Okay.
So anytime the EFCC take on the governor, that is the only time he will be prosecuted. The people whom that governor governed directly should be able to ask him to give an account of the stewardship. And that's what's happening in Kaduna. So that's why I commend them.
All right.
Yes, very well said. Well, that's all of our time for our main conversation today. And
when we return, after countless denials, federal government finally admits to paying oil subsidies. Details shortly.
Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.